Hello my dear, how you doing? Trust you are great. Welcome champion. It's nice having you in class today. I hope that today you are strong and we are going to be having a nice time in class. We're going to be looking at the topic key signatures. Can you say that after me? Say key signatures. All right. And we are going to be looking at the key signatures of C, D, G, and F major scales. Let's take that again together. The key signatures of C, D, G, and F major scales. Now, if you look at this particular staff, you can see that we have the staff, which is made up of 5 lines and 4 spaces. Also, we have the first element inside the staff, and that is the clef sign. Can you see that? All right. After the clef sign, we have the key signature, and immediately after the key signature, we have the time signature. Time signature is very different from key signature, but we are going to be looking at key signature today. Let's define what a key signature is all about. Key signatures are symbols written at the beginning of the staff, immediately after the clef sign. Key signatures are symbols which are written at the beginning of the staff, immediately after the clef sign. Remember, we said that we have, first of all, look at it again. We have the 5 lines and 4 spaces. We have the clef. So we said that the key signature is written immediately at the beginning, immediately after the clef sign. So after you draw your treble or your bass clef, the next thing you have to put is what? Your key signature before your time signature. So in as much as we are dealing with key signature, we said it is what? It is they are symbols that are written at the beginning of the staff, immediately after the clef. It is with the help of the key signatures one can differentiate the various scales in music. Remember, we are looking at C, D, G, and F. How do we know it's C major? How do we know it's D? How do we know it's F? How do we know it's G or A? It is with the help of what? The key signature. Now, let's see the different keys we have in the following scales we want to learn about today. Are you ready for that? The first we have is the C major scale. The C major scale do not have sharp or flat. Remember, we said that key signatures are symbols. What are these symbols? Flat, sharp, and probably natural. We seldomly make use of natural. Do you know what seldomly? We rarely, we hardly, we don't use it often. All right, that's what seldomly is. So the keys of C major doesn't have what? Any sharp, flat, or natural sign. There are no symbols. So when you draw your clef sign, the first thing you have to do is to run your scale from do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, so, fa, mi, re, do in ascending and what? Descending order. So notice that the scale of C major does not have sharp or flat, neither natural. The next we are going to be looking at now is the scale of D major. D major scale has 2 sharp signs. How many sharp signs? 2 sharp signs. If you look at it now, after the clef, there are 2 sharp signs there. And the 2 sharp signs are positioned on F and C. So it automatically makes it what? F sharp and C sharp. C major that doesn't have sharp or flat, once you are playing only on white keys. When you are playing on D major scale, you play on white keys, but once you get to the key of F, you must play a black note, and that's sharp. When you get again to the key of C, you also play what? A black note. So note it, the scale of D major has how many sharp signs? Very good. 2 sharp signs, and they are positioned on F and C sharps. Okay, the next now is the scale of G major. G major scale has just 1 sharp sign, and that 1 sharp sign is placed on F. Don't forget all of this. C major does not have sharp or flat. D major has 2 sharp signs, and they are positioned on F and C. And G major, which we are looking at now, has just one sharp sign and it is positioned on F. Is that okay? Then the last we are going to be looking at for this class is the scale of F major. Say F major scale. F major scale this time has another side. It has its symbol, but it's not sharp like we have seen in D major and G major. F major has the B flat. It has a flat sign which is written on what? B. The most thing or the first thing you are to know is this: your lines are 5 and it is every good boy drinks Fanta, which is EGBD what? F. While the spaces, they are what? FACE, which says your face. So once you know the lines and the spaces, you will automatically know where you are to position what? Your sharp sign. I go over it again. The scale of C major does not have any symbol, or we call it accidentals. It doesn't have sharp, flat, or natural. The scale of D major has 2 sharp signs placed on F and C. The scale of G major has just 1 sharp sign that is placed on F. And while the scale of F major has 1 flat sign on what? B. Alright, let's watch the
We have seen the building blocks of the major scale, the tone and the semitone, and how following a special pattern of tones and semitones takes us through a major scale, starting on any note we choose. And we have seen that C major is all the white notes on the piano. In other words, no sharps and no flats are needed to make the major scale complete. Let's look again at a C major scale over 1 octave. In this example, we see the ascending and descending scales, or going up and going down, if you'd rather be more down to earth about it. Although in this example we have just got 1 octave, or 8 notes going up and down, the scale of C major can and does go up and down as far as you want to play or sing. There is no limit apart from what is possible on your instrument. We just have a single octave here because it looks nice. Now, with key signatures, there is a rule. At the start of every line in a piece of music, you have to write the key signature. Key signatures are not like time signatures that you can just write once for a whole piece or for as long as you want them. They have to be repeated at the start of every line. Now for C major, there isn't much to say. The key signature is blank, as it happens, because there are no sharps and no flats. So in C major, the start of every new line has a clef with no sharps and no flats marked next to it. Let's look at the following example from Mozart's first piano sonata in C major, written in 1774. Notice that no sharps and no flats are marked at the start of each line. That gives us a good clue about the key we're in straight away. Look how frequently the music makes use of the key note and the common notes of the C major scale. Now, just as we can tell by looking, our ears can hear very clearly that this music is in the key of C major. It's where it seems to feel at home. Let's listen to the few opening bars that we have here. Did you see that Mozart used a whole bunch of notes that are not actually in the scale of C major? He uses all kinds of different notes that are not in the basic scale. Why does he do it? Well, the simple answer is, why not? That was the music he wanted to make. That's his style. He's using extra little chromatic notes, remember that word? Like C sharp, G sharp, D sharp and B flat, because they make his music colourful. They make it interesting. They're fun. If you like, he's just being funky. The point is that being in a key is not like being in a prison. It's just like having a home where you belong, not somewhere you have to stay no matter what. We'll look further at understanding how music lives in a key in later films. For now, let's move on and look at a couple of other key signatures. We've already seen in a previous film that the key signature for G major is 1 sharp, F sharp. We only need to write 1 F sharp in our key signature, the top line, and then as a general rule, every F will be F sharp. There's no need to write the sharp symbol again, it's all taken care of by the key signature that, of course, is written at the start of every new line, just in case we forget. Let's look at D major. D major has 2 sharps, F sharp and C sharp. Now, the order and position of the sharps or flats in key signatures is fixed. You just have to learn where they go and how to write them correctly. And so finally, here is F major. As we've seen previously, the key signature of F major is just 1 flat, B flat. The different key signatures in music may perhaps seem a bit confusing at first, but there really aren't so many of them, and as we will see later on, they do make sense in the end, and you get used to seeing them very quickly. So that's it. That's keys and key signatures C, G, D and F major.
Welcome back. Welcome back. I hope you had a nice time and you were able to learn a lot of things from the video. Now, time signature is static at the beginning, but the signature flows through the staff. When we say the signature flows through the staff, we are talking about the key signatures. Now, time signature, they are static, but key signatures, they flow. What do I mean by this? Unlike the time signature, they can be written at the beginning of the staff, and it will be used all through the music. But the key signature must appear at every beginning of the staff because keys can change. That's what we call modulation. The general rule on the majors is that all keys must be observed. Okay, now I want to ask this question. What was the first example we looked at from the video? The first example we looked at in the video, it was from a particular piece, a sonata piece. Whose sonata piece was that? Then secondly, how many sharp does D major have? I've asked 2 questions. Try and see how you can answer them. Then the third question I want to ask, look at these 2 staff. Can you differentiate them? The one to the left that has the orange note, what scale is this? The one to the right that has 1 sharp, what scale is also this one? All right, now I need you to go over to your quiz section and get your quizzes done. I trust you that you are going to get good grades. Okay, this is where we are going to be saying goodbye today. It's time to say goodbye. I want to say thank you for sitting still and learning today. Learning is the only thing that takes one to become successful. All right, goodbye. Love you. See you next time.